Shall we see what we got here? Oh, look at that. Brand new winch motor. Looks like the right one. Hi there, welcome to BSF Recovery Team. Well, we're going to finish up the winch. We got our new winch motor, and we're going to finish up the winch. We're going to put it back in the bumper, put it back on, put the Yankum rope on, and get it all ready for next weekend, the February winter run at Apple Valley Farms. But before we do, I'm going to answer a question or two that we've been getting in the comments. One of the most common questions I get is why don't we unlock the four-wheel drive in a lot of the rigs that we're towing? Well, short answer is a lot of them are trail trucks and they haven't been out of four-wheel drive in years. They get trailered to the event, they get put back on the trailer. They've been in low-range four-wheel drive for years and may or may not be able to come out due to mud packed into the linkage. Some of them are newer, come in and out of four-wheel drive pretty easy, but to be honest with you, the speed that we're towing them at and the distance that we tow them is not detrimental to any drivetrain parts, whether the front wheels are spinning while we're towing them out or not. So basically, we just don't bother. Another comment I've been getting recently is about never sees or anti-seize. Well, believe it or not, guys, this truck is built with anti-seize all over it. It's just that in the conditions we run in, you know, a year or two, and that anti-seize is not noticeable anymore. You can't tell that it's there. But believe me, when we assemble things, we assemble a lot of the things on this truck with never seize. Alright, the first thing we want to do is we want to take the bolts, the long bolts out so we can get this plastic retainer off. That's to hold the armature in there for shipping. And we want to take the plastic off so we can put it on here. We don't want to drop the armature out because then we'd have to have reset our brushes so we could put our armature back in our brushes. We're doing this with our winch on the bench in a vertical position. That way that gear stays in place. Now, like I said, we don't want to let the armature fall out. I'm going to put a little grease on the splines here. And there's a little tiny pin right here that allows us to clock our winch properly. There's a little tiny pinhole right here. But before we set the motor on there, because we have a steel housing here, an aluminum housing there, it does oxidize. So you can put a little RTV in here, try and keep the water out, separate the aluminum from the steel. What we're doing is we're actually putting a little never seize on here. That'll keep it from oxidizing, hopefully. Allow us to disassemble it again. Now, we want to make sure that we do not let that armature fall out. A little more grease on the side we missed. And line up that pin as we're setting it down in there. Just like that. So our threaded holes line up. See if they line up first. Looks like it. So we'll take them out one at a time and put a little never seize on the threads. There we go. Now we can assemble the cables and the control box. I was too worried about telling you what I was doing, and I didn't realize that I clocked it into the wrong hole. I like doing this so much we had to do it twice. And I also remembered that I don't really want to put the control box on just yet until I mount it into the bumper. Because of the way it's mounted into this bumper, the control box is kind of in the way of a few things. So the only thing we want to do right now is we want to put the negative cable on it. And the negative cable is going to wrap down underneath the motor. This goes to the face plate here. And so we've cleaned that all off, so at least it'll give us good contact for a year, maybe two if we're lucky. Yes, we'll put a little never seize on this too. You don't have to tell me. Make it tight, but not too tight. That is torque spec, in case you want to know. Since we're going to be putting the Yankum winch rope on, and to make this a little bit lighter to set into the bumper and assemble and everything, I think we'll peel off the cable right now. So we'll put it in pre-spool, see if we can pull off the cable. Better get my gloves. Ready? Yes, she's pinched in there pretty good. Gotta get a pry bar. Well, I guess that ain't happening. We're gonna have to put it into the bumper, bolt it onto the truck, and then maybe use a machine to pull it out. I want you to grab the end of that cable there.
This one?
Yep. No, the steel cable.
Oh!
And put it through that slot in the bumper, please.
Yes, sir.
Keep pulling it through. Okay, thank you. Okay, we got some new hardware here to mount our winch, but we don't have any of the new special square nuts that Warren uses in their housing. So we're gonna have to reuse the old ones. She's laughing about that word square nuts, just like all the other.
Spindle nuts.
Yeah.
Lock nuts.
Anyway, we're gonna clean the threads out. Somebody asked in the last video what this brush kit was. This is just basically an engine brush kit from JT Performance Tool. You can get them at any parts store. It's the same brushes that clip into your drills with the square drive, and they just happen to include a handle with it, which is kind of nice, and an extension.
Yes.
So we're gonna brush out the threads of the old nuts.
Do you need some spindle nuts?
No, they're on the truck.
Lock nuts?
Don't need any of those right at the moment. All right. So these nuts get set into the housing here, and you try and move the winch into place. That's why we kept the control box off, so we could access these. Try and keep them from falling out while you move the winch into place. The reason they're square is so they don't turn in the aluminum casting in the special slot that they have for them. That one started. No.
No.
Those are longer for the bottom because the bottom gets the aluminum head on it. All right, so now we got the front ones in there snugged up, and instead of putting the roller head on, because we're switching to a winch rope, we got Yankum's new Fairlead here with the anchors for the end of the winch rope on either side to secure it when you spool the winch all the way in. We're not going to put that on right now because I don't want to mess this nice smooth aluminum up with the steel cable in case we have trouble getting it off. So we're just going to start the bolts right now and let them hold the bottom of the winch into place. Then once we're ready to put the Yankum rope on, then that's when we'll put the aluminum Fairlead on. Okay, that'll hold those square nuts in there, allow us to get the rest of the winch assembled and bolted onto the truck, and then we can finish upgrading to our synthetic winch rope. Clamps for our winch control box on the motor here, and we still have to replace our Kentucky Fried cable here. How you doing with the grill?
Oh, me and the grill are doing just fine.
Okay. There's the one we fried. Get a load of that.
You want to keep this as a souvenir?
No, we can throw that away.
No, I think we're going to keep this as a souvenir of what not to do.
It's not my fault. It just overheated because I overworked the winch. All right, we're not going to secure our cover yet because we still have our leads from our in-cab switches to attach. But everything else is all set. We can mount the bumper back on the truck now. Well, just because we like doing these jobs so much, we're going to do it twice. We had to take the grill back out. We got ahead of ourselves, and I forgot that in order to get these cables through the core support over here, I got to have the grill out. I can't fit my hands in there and fish them through. So we had to take the grill back out. Doing things twice. Yep, practice makes perfect, right? Mm-hmm. So the other thing is if you notice here, one of my hooks got really bent. I don't know when that happened, but I think I'm going to blame it on Rory and Trailmater out in Sand Hollow. Yep, I'm going to blame it on them.
No, I blame it on you when you climbed the rock and you bumped it.
No, it's bent out, not in.
I don't blame it on you.
Anyway, so we're going to switch to these older style hooks from a square body that are much stronger.
Ooh.
So these other style hooks don't line up with the set of holes on here. They're off of a regular pickup truck frame with of an older style. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to use the front hole on the top, and then we're going to drill another hole in the mounting plate right here, and we'll have the bumper bolted on with 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts on each side, and the hook bolted on with 2, one into the frame rail, one into the mounting plate for the bumper. Suppose things are tweaked a little bit.
Just a little.
I'm on this one.
Alrighty. You on the one above it?
No, I gotta get the table out of the way to get on the other two.
Oh.
We'll go to the other side.
Okay.
Putting the wires on here for our in the cab controls. You can put the grill back in now if you want.
Well, see, I used your tool that you had on your desk.
Are you talking to the magic socket again?
I was, and I asked him if I should put the grill back, and it says not likely.
Oh, not yet? Okay.
I guess not.
Maybe try it again.
Doesn't look good.
In case you guys want to know what we're laughing at. This is a snap-on magic socket. It's like an 8-ball. So, should Mara put the grill back in? Probably not. Let's try it again. What does it say this time? Oh, it says absolutely.
Oh, okay. If it says absolutely, let's do it.
Now we can put the cover back on. You getting it in there?
I'm stuck on something.
Gotta go.
I'm off.
do.
All right. What are you doing? Playing with the battery?
Hooking up the cables for the winch.
Oh. Am I a better driver of the tow truck than my husband? Cannot answer right now.
Well, let's see if I wired everything up right.
Hey, your winch.
Is that going in?
Try it again. Yes, that's going in.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's going out.
Now comes the hard part.
There.
Oh, look at that. You guys suppose that cable's been pinched a few times? Oh, that's not wanting to come out. I don't know if I have time for PB Blaster to do its job. We might have to heat that up.
Am I ever gonna get my own tow truck? Definitely. Yes.
There we go. All right, now we get to take our 2 bolts out and put our new flare head on from Yankum for their winch rope. Well, we can't get a socket in there. Not with those bolts. Looks like we need some Allen bolts. That's going to require a trip to the hardware store when they're open tomorrow morning.
Oh.
I was thinking about it, and the reason we ran into this problem is because most winches, smaller winches, are bolted to the bottom plate. And then these bolts are just little 3/8 bolts that hold whatever flare lead or roller flare head that you have. Our big M12,000 mounts to the front plate with 7/16 bolts, which happen to have a 5/8 head. So that's where we're running into the clearance problem, and that's why we need to go source some Allen headed bolts. So again, we run into a dilemma. I have to go home and edit this video so I can post it for you guys tomorrow morning, and we're kind of stuck until we get the right bolts to put this head on. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching BSF Recovery Team. Keep wheeling, be safe, maybe we'll see you in the woods eventually.